All right, and we are back. Hope you guys didn't miss us too much. So up next, we have a Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, all bosses and mini bosses unrestricted run by Dan Flesh. Good luck, Dan.
Thank you, Dak. Yes, it's Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. That's the first Sekiro run on the marathon. Make sure to check out like the other one that is going to be in one of the days, like the randomizer full shuffle. Must be interesting to watch. But yeah, I think we can just do a countdown for the timer to start. So like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so Sekiro, all bosses, mini bosses, is quite saturated run with events, I would say. This run has almost or around 50 boss fights overall, included all bosses, mini bosses, and hopefully most of them will go fine. So we are in the tutorial area. It's like a prologue when you can't do anything, and since we can't even sprint, you have just to jump because it's faster than just walking straight. And I have probably to say the first thing that we have in the run is that we have subtitles off, and that's not just like a preference. Nice, I messed up the jump. It's not just a preference, but actually having subtitles off allows you to skip dialogues significantly faster, and that was found like almost 2 years after the game released or something like that. So, you know, guys, better sometimes to open settings and check out what possibilities this game give you and what it ends up with. Okay, so we've got our weapon, and the first mini boss is coming ahead. It's like a super simple mini boss. You need like to deal very little damage to kill him. AI in this game is made the way that regular enemies try to not interrupt you fighting like any bosses. So like all the enemies from the rest of the area are just standing still and waiting for me to finish the fight. Sometimes they can interrupt you and kill you immediately because I have like no health and I will die from any hit, but not the case. But yeah, speaking of no subtitles, it was found like super late after release. And in this category, because of all the dialogues you have to do, it's saved over minute and a half of just pure time from skipping dialogues faster. It's like very crazy. But yeah, here we have Genichiro. He kills us. That's nice, because we get teleported faster. And here he cuts off our hand and we get Shinobi Prosthetic instead, and now we are able to grappling hook with our hand. And now we are able to equip prosthetic tools as well in it. And there at the start, like Ashina outskirts, we are gonna skip one of the like 2 mini bosses in this area that we will kill much later in the run, but we will kill the bosses that are not worth killing later. And also on the way we are going to take this like shuriken prosthetic tool. It's one of the 3 prosthetic tools we are going to actively use in this run. Well, actively. One of the 2 actively prosthetic tools we're gonna actively use, and 1 out of 3 that we're going to use overall. So here, that's another samurai. This guy has pretty much the same moveset as the guy from the tutorial area, but it's extended. And we can perform, like on pretty much any mini bosses in this boss in this game, you can perform a stealthy death blow. So performing stealth blow allows you to get rid of one of the health bar of the boss, which is super convenient and neat. And there we picked up one of the buffs we're gonna use later. It's called Gachin Sugar. Sugars are the consumable buffs that give you different effects. We're going to use many of them throughout the run. And here we're gonna use Gachin for stealthy death blow on Ogre. Looks a little scuffed, but this whole boss fight is a little scuffed, especially when I already messing up like it from the very beginning, and I also couldn't even grapple. Cool. Okay, this is gonna be... We'll take it slow. This boss can get like out of hand pretty easily if you mess up like I just did, but luckily it was pretty simple to back this up. So yeah, we have to kill Ogre. It's a boss we can skip with Ogre skip, but the skip takes so long that it's absolutely not worth it doing it, and not like game is not supposed to let you skip Ogre. So it's just there is no reason to kill him later. It's absolutely not worth it. There I took an idol, exactly that idol we're going to use to warp back in this area, and we are going to hopefully perform, or not perform, the skip. The first skip in the run is actually the most difficult skip in the run, pretty much. It's double canyon. It's a very difficult delayed jump that you have pretty much only one attempt to get. It saves around like 10 seconds. Well, it saves not 10, but rather like 8 seconds compared to not attempting it. But it's always worth to go for it. And then I performed the regular canyon skip, which is just a jump across the like icicle wall that allows you to skip all the wall hugging and going past the snake. And now we're gonna fight actually the first boss, an actual boss of the run. Well, fight, I mean XD. Imagine fighting bosses in video games. So as you can hear, that's Gyobu Masataka. He's a cool guy. Well, actually he is very cool because I mess up the skip. So yeah, like here we're using the skip called Gyobu skip. It's a skip that allows you to entirely skip the fighting the boss. And since this is all bosses, we don't have to skip bosses, but this skip allows you to pretty much insta-kill the boss in a desirable way. So let's hope second try will be more successful. Okay, this is like fully RNG based segment. Like he can do 3 different outcomes. Oh no, he actually didn't fall. What the heck? Oh no. Like I've got the good RNG, but for some reason he like did it, like I didn't make it in time. I'm not sure why, because everything seemed fast enough. And now I had to wait like bazillion seconds for him to actually fall off the arena. Like the way how this works is that normally there are invisible barriers for the boss in the boss arena, right? That will prevent him from falling off. But when you get out of the arena, game removes the invisible barriers for some reason. It just deloads them when you are not inside the fighting boss arena. And after it's deloaded, it's just like you have to bait him out correctly from the cliff. And now it's time... Oh, I actually used my healing word already. Heck. Okay, let's hope this boss goes well. It's time for Blazing Bull. Okay, I am very... I'm very scuffed because I have the spear guy inside the fight that clearly shouldn't be there. Okay. Okay, now let us finish the fight. This fight can go like super smoothly if you do things correctly. If you don't, like I just did, then it goes into a clown fiesta. It's actually very lucky already that I didn't die overall in this one. And the amount of health I have for the Lone Shadow fight coming next is very unsafe, but this is fine. At least we will have like a idol nearby to back it up. So there we kill the enemy in the area. He guaranteed drops the key that gives an access to hidden item behind the door there. And that item is a prosthetic tool, like the spear prosthetic tool. That is gonna be used in just couple places, but it's totally worth getting it. Like, it doesn't save, like, all in all, considering the amount of time you spend on picking up, it doesn't save too much time, like probably around 15 seconds, but it makes like fights that you are using it in significantly more reliable. And probably it doesn't even save 15 seconds, probably a bit less. Okay, so Lone Shadow, we bait out in a corner, and we start abusing one of the features of this game called dead angling. Obviously a feature. So how this works is that enemies do not block your attacks if you attack them with a certain angle. Like, they just don't react that you are attacking them, right? They don't read it as a direct hit, but your hitbox still reaching them out. And if you can block an enemy in a corner, you can pretty much spam them to death. There are enemies that have insanely big dead angles. Like, you need like to attack literally from behind in order to dead angle, but there are very few of them, and obviously on those you don't use it. But there on Lone Shadow, it's pretty simple. It's the only difficult part is getting him in the corner, and I have got like the best RNG possible to have him there, so it was like absolutely no issue. The next mini boss coming up is a gun lady. She is definitely like one of the most annoying mini bosses for casual playthrough. And I didn't get the strat, so it's going to be a little painful. Okay, so there, the strat I didn't get is the way how Gunner will be aggroing at me. So if I get unlucky, well, I didn't need to get unlucky because I got grabbed anyway. So fighting Gun Lady, we abuse the same mechanic, right? Same way as we were grabbed by, or rather not grabbed, but the same way we did angle Lone Shadow, we did angle Gun Lady there in the corner. Her grabs can be easily deflected if you are not me and fail it. But the issue with the dangling her is that there is a gunner in the arena that constantly keeps noticing you. And the strat that I failed is if you make him his like awareness marker yellow before you death blow, he just de-aggroes right before he aggroes. So that like makes fight like 100% safe from the RNG of that dude. Alternatively, if you don't like the strat, you would have to make sure that he is as low aggroed as possible at the start of the fight, so he aggroes as late as possible. And then you can look at him, and by looking at him, you bait his AI to look around for some reason, and that also like removes his cautious for quite a while and gives you some free time to keep that angling Gun Lady in the corner. So there we are gonna do some shopping and menuing. There we come to talk with Ishin. This is mandatory for the main quest line. You must talk with him. You can reject his quest line for Ashina skill tree. It's not a big deal. But what you have to do is you have to talk with him at least once in order to make him spawn in Ashina Castle later on. Then there I sell 1000 purse that I picked up on my way in Abandoned Dungeon, and I buy Firecracker Prosthetic Tool. And this, like, we are done with all the prosthetic tools we will need in a run. That's why we go to our good friend Sculptor and wait for him to give us all the needed skill trees, and we will equip the Shinobi Prosthetic Tools, which is Shuriken, Spear, and Firecracker. And we receive like 2 skill trees, Shinobi skill tree and Prosthetic skill tree. Both of them are incredibly valuable for a speedrun. Shinobi skill tree is generally a main skill tree in the game. Most importantly, it has a mid-air and 2 extra spirit emblems perks. And Shinobi skill tree is mostly useful for you, like being able to use prosthetic tools mid-air and for having 2 more spirit emblems. And spirit emblems, like the overall amount of spirit emblems, is very crucial for this run, because we are going to use Mortal Draw a lot, and having a lot of spirit emblems at once is quite crucial for that. So there we do some parkour on the roof to get to most impressive boss fights in this game that requires a lot of skill and talent. Yeah, so basically like Miss Noble is like an enemy you have to kill to progress through the area, to remove all the mists and all the illusions from the area. Yeah, and on my way I pick up like a lot of resources. I picked up snap seeds that I'm gonna use very soon on Corrupted Monk coming up next. And I picked up a bunch of sugars. I picked up Yashoriku sugars, if to be accurate. Those sugars are the RTSR equivalent of this game. Like, it lowers your health and posture amounts twice, but it gives you like a lot of extra damage to health and posture. Mostly posture. Like, you do deal, yeah, less, like more health to damage, yeah, you deal more damage to health bar of the enemies, but it's like super unnecessary, because most of the kills we are going to get in this run gonna be a posture kills through the posture bar. There I also picked up an idol to come back for Orin later, because at this stage of the game we are not able to fight with Orin successfully. So we'll just let her leave for a while. Here I also take some Divine Confettis that are gonna be incredibly powerful against enemies such as Shichimian warriors and Headless, most importantly, because those enemies pretty much can't be killed without Divine Confetti efficiently. And here comes Corrupted Monk. We use the insane quick kill strat that is totally intended, as you can see. Yep. So how this works is Corrupted Monk has a line of sight for some reason as a boss. So she also has certain area where she starts spawning at the start of the boss fight. And the thing is that if you enter arena from the right place, she doesn't notice you. And if you then use Snap Seed at the very beginning to make her stop going forward, she also will not be aggroed. And then you just use the rest of your Snap Seeds and Firecrackers to push her backwards all the way to a point from where you can perform a jump from a stone and do a death blow from on top of her, like stealth death blow. Like, apparently this is a leftover, like most likely this boss is a reskin, like, well, it's clearly a reskin of the other boss of the game, which is True Monk. And apparently it was made later, and because of that, like, she still has like a death blow possibility from mid-air if she didn't notice you. So it just was not expected for this like outcome to ever be possible, but it is. And there you can see like I'm comfily swimming through the air. That's the reason why we killed Corrupted Monk first. as the first boss, because after killing Corrupted Monk, you get an access to swimming underwater, and swimming underwater is a thing that allows you to be able to perform a glitch called air swim, and we're going to use that glitch a lot in order to... Okay, let me actually do some menuing there that I forgot to do previously. It's a glitch that allows you to swim underwater. The issue of that glitch is that it's very finicky to cancel. Like, while swimming, you can perform many actions. But luckily, entering any cutscene automatically removes the swimming state from you. So you can swim in any cutscene, and it will be automatically like cancelled, no problem. Ooh, we've got the perfect Genichiro RNG in phase 3. Poggers. Nice, that's a very good fight. So yeah, as you could see, I also like use the dead angle for Genichiro. Like, you bait out him for a corner at the very beginning, and for both phases you just keep dead angling him to death, so he doesn't react to your attacks. That's pretty neat. It's not worth it for the third phase, just because lightnings make him die so fast that it's just not worth it. There I also try to do the strat that like makes the black screen after the cutscene shorter. It's like one of the very weird Sekiro things, that many black screens can be manipulated into being shorter by like a second or half a second by being in the right position before the cutscene starts. That's like a very subtle thing, but for runs like any percent, where every second is like a huge time save or time loss, it's a very big. And I have no clue how it works actually, because it has not much to do with like cutscene loading faster or the area loading faster. I don't think anyone knows why the faster cutscenes are, like faster black screens are caused in certain places. In some places it's clearly has something to do with loading an area. Like before monkeys, for example, I'm going to use my Gachin Sugar outside of the boss arena, in a way, like right in front of the bell, the way that the next loading screen going to be significantly shorter than it would have been if I would use my Gachin Sugar in a different place. But yeah, and there we have to pick up a key after we bone away from mission. All these dialogues are needed to progress the story ahead. Most of all, this is needed to be able to get an access to monkeys. Unfortunately, all the monkey skips, the fancy out of bounds monkey skip was patched out from the game, and we run on the 104 version. It's pretty much the same as the current patch version, except you don't have the gauntlet boss rush modes that developers added. That doesn't really lose you time, it just affects the menuing, and I'm an old man, I'm used to things, so I don't want to relearn one extra menu option, you know. No reason to play on the current patch because of that. But yeah, here we do more air swimming, and that's the air swim that saves the most time in the run. It's the one that we use to go into Sanpo Temple. And there I do like quite specific actions in order for my air swim to succeed. Like, I surface on water in specific place. Like, first of all, the way how air swim works is that you have to dive underwater in out of bounds area, like where water isn't, like water surface isn't closed by like anything. That allows you like to swim anywhere again, and to cancel it, as I mentioned, you need either cutscene or you need to resurface back and bounds in any area, right? So it's quite finicky, but it's worth it. Okay, now it's time for Armored Warrior. That's a relatively modern strat. Not really modern at this point. Messed it up a little, but fine. So what you do there, you just bait Armored Warrior out of the boss fight arena. Same with Genichiro. Sorry, not Genichiro, Gyobu. As we did at the beginning. So he just falls off. Like, he breaks the fence by himself. Like, we bait out an attack and then he just walks off and dies. Very convenient. And as you could see, I cancelled my air swim with resurfacing within inbounds waters. It's not possible, like, everywhere. But it's good enough to use there. Oh no, I got messed up by the jump counter hitbox. Luckily didn't affect the fight too much. Yeah, and there we killed Centipede just because this boss is like very simple and we have enough attack power to deal with him fast enough. And then we quit out, and quitting out there performs like a warp for us, like without warp. The way how this works is that this game has sort of alert state when you're getting noticed by enemies, right? And when that happens, game stops storing your exact position right at the place where you got noticed. And since we were noticed all the way from where I was just spawning, game didn't update my position, but it does update all the stuff that happens in game. So, holy shit, that was unlucky as heck. The frame perfect hits. I'm glad I healed actually. And there you could see I use Gachin Sugar very close to Bell. I do that on purpose to reduce the time you spend in black screen after loading. And this boss is like 100% gimmick boss. Like, you just have to perform right actions in the right order. And it's 100% consistent. We use Gachin Sugar because one of the monkeys... Like, first of all, Gachin Sugar makes you silent. And it makes you very hard to notice. So 2 of the monkeys are abused just by doing that. Because one of them has like insane eyesight and the other one has insane hearing. And both of that eliminated almost entirely by Gachin Sugar. I mean, eyesight isn't eliminated as much, but eliminated enough to make it like super comfortable to do. And now we achieve the item that makes this game easy, in fact. Mortal Blades. It's not just a key item to obtain to progress the story, it also gives you an ability called Mortal Draw. And Mortal Draw is a very balanced ability, but not in this patch. Like, in release patch it was insane garbage, so they added a lot of damage to it, and it ended up being super OP instead of being insane garbage. And what is most importantly, that we acquire a perk called Mid-Air Combat, and for some unknown reason, if you perform a Mortal Draw swing after jumping, it takes the damage values from Enhanced Mortal Draw. Totally like legit. So like every first swing after the jump gonna deal in like significantly much more damage than a regular swing would do. Which you can see this Ashana Elite embracing on full scale. How balanced this ability is. And in combination with prosthetic tools like Firecracker, we can stunlock bosses, certain bosses at least, to death pretty efficiently, which also can be seen on this guy. Poor Samurai. Like, first of all, it's a fancy death blow to perform at the beginning, and then you just boom, like, melt him down. We are using offensive sugars a lot as well, since, as I mentioned, like, offensive sugars increase the posture damage you deal significantly, and Mortal Draw deals a shitload of posture damage, and that being increased by sugars makes it even like more powerful. than without. So that's pretty poggers. And now we head out to Gunfort, the interesting area to play through casually, XD. But in a speedrun, it's pretty calm, especially with like safe strats that you take that are a little bit slower, but generally pretty safe. You have to get like very unlucky to die in that area, and I guess we have some time for donations during that time.
All right, sounds good. And we do have a couple of donations waiting for us, actually. So the first donation is $3 from Alex, saying, "Thanks, guys, for Charity Marathon." And we got another donation of $45 from Peanut, saying, "Doggo, please." Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys. No! Oh my god, it's a very... Like, I don't think I ever messed up this jump to a degree that you can't back it up with a wall jump immediately, but, well, first time is a charm, I guess. Okay, so there we use Gachin Sugar. We use it for both rest of the gun fort and for these gun lady boss. So if you buffer your squats right after the grapple, she does not immediately notice you, and that is not possible to do without Gachin Sugar. And then the gunshot from one of the gunners in the area makes her cautious. Oh no, that's very bad actually, that I couldn't... Okay, I will have not enough spirit emblems now for Guardian A, but I guess this is fine. Or I guess not as many. Because I couldn't like death blow gun lady without swinging an extra time like an idiot. But yeah, like it makes her cautious and that allows you to death blow her from behind. It's like super weird working, but it's a very cool strat that makes this fight much more comfortable to deal with. And yeah, the boss coming up, I guess I can take an idol now. Who takes an idol? No, I will actually take an idol, you know what? This run isn't going very well overall, so I'd rather take idol than don't. Because if I die to Guardian Ape or on the way, I will have to go like a long way back there. So this is another centipede boss, and this one is like super free. You need only one attack, except like double mortal draw swing in order to kill him, and that's very simple to get, luckily. Like the very first hit is a little weird. Like you need to perform a very certain like death blow animation at the start in a phase 1 in order to make phase 2 absolutely free. Actually, in quite many fights you have various versions of the death blow, and in certain fights you want to perform very particular death blows or adjust your actions based on death blows you get, because they do get do give your enemies like different amount of iframes after death blow you perform, and different amount of downtime before enemy is active after being death blowed. Oh no. Yeah, as I just said, salvaged. Okay, so I messed up the jump, and instead I grappled to a trees, and trees don't count as a stable ground, so now when I quit out I will spawn on top instead of actually dying or having to go through the bottom of the area. Legend. The rest of this area is very simple to go through. I mean, that grapple is also very simple to go through, but I just messed up. I got the vertical jump. Like, jumping in this game can be annoying. Like, the difference between vertical and like sidewall, like an actual momentum sidewall jump, is the angle you have analog stick compared to surface. So it's like quite tricky on certain surfaces to get the right jump off. So that's Guardian Ape. All the beasts in this game are... Oh my god, that's just unlucky actually, mostly. Well, not really unlucky. Can at least something in this run not be very bad. So I completely messed up the strat. Well, luckily I took an idol, right? I have not enough sugars though now. Same 360 flex spin at the end. So what happened there, I overstaggered Guardian Ape, and that probably happened because I used my Mortal Draw a little bit late at the start. And because of that, this scenario can happen to you overall. Which is unfortunate, like, but doable to deal with. Unfortunately, I overused the Yashuriku sugar there. So I think I will just take another one. Like, I will skip the air swim to Father Owl in order to get one extra Yashuriku sugar to make it more convenient. Because if I don't do that, the issue is gonna be that... What's the issue is actually gonna be? I don't remember. I don't remember where you need one of the Yashuriku sugars I'm thinking of, but there will be some issues. Because all the consumables are routed like precisely in this run. So in order to use some extra, you need to know where to get them. Okay, attempt number 2. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be done. Yeah, this is how this phase 1 should be done normally. You shouldn't have stagger like you did in my first attempt, and then afterwards you use another firecracker and you make sure you get the headshot, because actually, like, headshotting the ape in phase 1 deals significantly more posture damage. So, like, headshotting firecracker deals a huge amount of posture damage. And now we are in a phase 2, cancelling the scream, getting the combo, and the fight is over. So there I used Mortal Draw in the end, and there is a sweet spot even in phase 2. Like, if you hit around where the head's supposed to be, there is a certain sweet spot that is very easy to hit with Mortal Draw. Or alternatively, you could use Spear, but Spear is a little bit slower because of how long animation is. And then we receive the last required item to change the world state forwards. And then we warp to the idol we never took. That happens because game automatically gives you this idol as the latest, like, idol you've been at, because after this world state is activated, also many idols in like every idol in Ashina Castle gets blocked for a warp. So that's just how developers handled it. Okay, now it's time to do some stuff. Actually, we potentially could kill this boss much earlier, much later. But here is another thing coming into place. Since the world states change in this game over, like, progression course, some mini bosses will disappear. And this particular mini boss disappears after you kill Dragon. So we have to kill him before we kill Dragon. So it's just most convenient to kill him there. And as you could see, like, the 7 spear boss is fully abused by a Mortal Draw plus Firecracker because he can't do anything. Like, he has no such fast attacks to interrupt you doing stuff. Oh, actually, yeah, I'm skipping the air swim to Owl. It is absolutely the same air swim you perform as for Genichiro, right? But in order to get this, like, extra Yashuriku sugar, I would rather not do it. Okay, I haven't swum there in ages, so that's fine. Yeah, I got the enemy aggroed. I absolutely don't remember how to go through this area, so No bully. I will even rest at the idol just in case to not get a meme teleport out of the arena, but that will be after the fight already. So here we have to talk with the owl, and that's where the ending choice happen. We choose second option to progress the game further instead of getting Shura ending. As you can guess, like, Shura ending bosses are not the part of the all bosses mini bosses run, because, well, it wouldn't be very fun to doing NG plus run through just to kill like one particular boss, doing like any percent on top of this whole run. And Owl, like, I want to thank you From Software using the best arenas of the bosses in this game. Like, they reused this boss arena for multiple bosses. Oh my god, I frame. Go right. Oh my god, okay, I'm gonna show you like the ancient strats, okay? Or I don't, because I die. Cool. So they reuse the boss arenas from multiple boss fights, and this is one of them. And here you get Genichiro stuck already once, right? And now you do get Owl stuck. Unfortunately, I messed up by framing his face transition, which is a very... Well, I actually can't air swim yet because there is no cutscene, but anyway. I messed up by framing his face transition, and on top of that, like, he can do two different attacks, like, with two different outcomes. And he did the attack that you can't very safely deal with if you get staggered by a smoke grenade. So that was unlucky. Well, I messed up, plus that was unlucky. Not in my favor. So yeah. Have to come all the way back. Like, fight will be looking absolutely the same, except I'm not gonna use the confetti, because like confetti makes fight a little bit faster, well, quite significantly faster, but it's just not worth reusing it because we have a limited resources. There are gonna be other places where it's better to keep fire, like to keep confetti for. Also, Owl 1 has like multiple openers, and each one have to be dealt with a little differently. And there I got like the perfect opener, the best one. So yeah, and I guess we have some time for donations because this fight is looking the same.
Well, we currently don't have any donations because
he has
I'm
no
afraid
smoke screen, no.
People just don't want to ruin that nice number of money raised, but please do ruin it, of course. But instead of that, I wanted to talk about one of our sponsors, actually, and one of our biggest sponsors, actually. Since for the 5th year in a row, we have partnered with Bandai Namco. They have generously provided us with 10 codes for the Elden Ring network test, a Dark Souls vinyl box, and a Dark Souls compendium, which will be given away throughout the event. So, huge shout out to them, and thank you so much for supporting the Speed Souls charity marathon. Thank you, Bandai.
Thank you, Bandai. Okay, there I will take an idol. I will make sure to rest so I don't get teleported like far way back because I don't know the super safe pathing that would make going through the area that you usually air swim through in this route safe. And there we have to talk a lot. And this is one of the places where no subtitles save literal like almost a minute probably. Because normally you would have to scroll through all the dialogue lines. Wait, what this dialogue? Oh, it's because I didn't quit out, right? Okay, that's some difference based on no quit out. I see. Or maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, we have to talk there to get an access to Fountainhead Palace, and then we have to listen for Kuro dialogue here. And that's a startup for Purification ending, or alternatively, not Purification ending necessarily. It can be... I don't remember how the other ending is called, but the thing is, we have to do the Purification ending fully in this run. And the reason why we have to do that is because one of the bosses is, and a bunch of mini bosses are hidden in Hirata 2 area that is only available if you do go for the ending. So that's one of the reasons why you have to do a lot of dialogues in this run, and it's also the reason why no subtitles save as much time. And the next thing coming up is True Monk, and True Monk has a very fancy difficult skip for phase 1. It's like a 4 frames window that allows you to skip phase 1. So luckily I didn't fail it. You have to do particular pathing to not aggro the boss while you grapple on this tree, and then you have to jump and perform that, like, I'm using the mouse wheel to like keep inputs constantly going to make sure that my input comes through at the right frame. So yeah, that's not very simple one. The reason why this works is because you have True Monk standing there all the time. You have a cutscene, her like jumping into the arena and stuff, but her actual like hitbox, body, all the parameters, they are already like in the arena loaded. They're just invincible, invulnerable, but they're here. Like even collision is here. But they tried to fix the True Monk phase 1 skip that was initially here. That was very simple to do. Like it was incredibly easy. But for some reason, the way they fixed it still have a like 4 frames window that allows you to skip the phase 1 by performing that blow on this like True Monk hitbox that is waiting for you inside the arena. It's like very weird. It's like that blow activates before she notices you, basically. This 4 frames window. Because again, this death blow works the same as the first corrupted monk we fought back in Mibu Forest. When she doesn't see you, she can be death blowed. But again, because she spawns like very late, you have this like only 4 frames window when you can perform it. Okay, there we use attack power. I also did the lightning skip. It's like a pathing skip that allows you to kill the Okami leader. And you don't have to traverse through the area in order to get the stuff done. Instead, you can just swim past the carp, swim past the lightning balls, and be done. And now we will have to do with the rest. Like, this is a very simple area to deal with, because this mini boss is just a joke, mostly. You have to cancel her initial ball attack that she does, and after that it's pretty safe. Then we use Gachin Sugar and Divine Confetti in order to fight with Underwater Headless. We use Gachin Sugar so his copy, his like phantom copy, doesn't notice us at the start of the fight. And Underwater Headless fight is pretty simple. All in all, like, you just strafe everything and boss dies like no issues. As soon as you get this tiger, it's like he's dead with this attack power numbers. And now the only remaining mini bosses left in this area are Dragon, Sakura Bull, and Shichiman. Shichiman, that is in Fountainhead Palace, gonna be killed as the very, very, very last enemy of the run. So we will come back here later for that. But Sakura Bull will kill just now. And I actually messed up. Oh my god, what am I doing? I actually made this mistake the other day because like I start overthinking it, and I'm like, dude, I don't remember what order I have to do inputs, but I just did stupid shit. Hopefully Quit Out spawns me on the roof in the right place. Yeah, it does. So what you have to do, you have to use Firecracker first and then hit the bull. Why you have to do it in such an order? The reason for that is, if you do that this way, you bait out bull 100%, go for a charge attack, and whenever bull hits a wall within a charge attack, he instantly like gets 100% posture damage. So while you comfortably picking up some items on the ground, bull is just charging at you into the wall and dies immediately. All you have to do is just to perform the death blow. Make this fight super simple. You can actually perform this trick even on regular bull, like the blazing bull, but it's so slow that it's not worth it. Like, regular fight can be very fast, even though it haven't looked like that in my run, because I got majorly messed up, but believe me, that fight can be incredibly fast if you do things correctly. And I also forgot to level up my health one extra time, which is not a big deal, but can be annoying in the coming up next fight. So there we come back to Ashen Outskirts. The reason we come back there now in particular is the same as why we kill the 7 spears, like the first 7 spears. As soon as we kill Dragon, this boss will disappear, right? So in order for that to not happen, we have to kill him now, right before the dragon, because that's the best moment. Like, we have the most attack power we could potentially get at this point, almost, like, except the Hirata attack powers, but those are not needed, especially for that mini boss. As you could see, like, the only issue with that mini boss is that there are a billion enemies around, but with killing the right enemies, it's very simple. And here we're gonna fight the first ground headless. It's an Akko headless. It's a pretty simple one. I mean, none of the headless are very simple to fight against, really, I guess. Headless have quite finicky moveset. Oh, he survived and actually managed to attack me faster than I did attack him. Nice headless. Oh my god, dudes. He teleported away as well. Yeah, it was very unfortunate. Like, I messed up, but like, the way he teleported, or rather grabbed me after he teleported while he was like invisible, was like super scuffed while he was teleporting. So I just missed one of my hits and then messed up. But this is fine. This is like not a big deal at all. Oh, I actually warped to a wrong place. Ha. It's not a big deal, actually. I'm not gonna be even like warping to a different place from here, but optimally you warp to a different idol because you need to talk with Emma from here. But it's like very little deal.
Do you have a moment for a couple of donations?
Yeah, we do. Like, we actually have like super boring dialogue segment. Except, let me say like one thing. I haven't used this before in a dialogue because I rested at the idol, which is equivalent. But because we run unrestricted, we are allowed to quit out whenever we want. And in order to proceed the Emma dialogues, I can just like quit out, and that will like sort of update the world state enough for the next dialogue to spawn. Now you can go ahead with the donation.
I see. Very impressive. Well, we do have a couple of donations here, and we have $22.22 from Bun Dumpling saying, "Please don't be scared of this unholy beast of a speedrunner, children."
Thank you, Bun.
And we have a $50 donation from an anonymous saying, "Kill the frames, save the maiden." Thank you.
Yeah, saving maiden is some controversial opinion, I guess. Anyway, like, we have one of the, I would say, difficult segments, most difficult segments in the whole run when we have to kill, like, we have to clear, like, the reason why we do this now again as well, because one of the mini bosses, like headlesses obviously don't get affected by world state at any point, but the lone shadow that is in there specifically spawns after obtaining all 3 items and disappears after killing the dragon. It's like the boss that exists the least time on the map, and we just have to kill them before the dragon as well. And this boss is, like, we're gonna use a very weird strat. Like, this lone shadow particularly can use a Yashuriku sugar himself, and that will deal, like, it will reduce the posture bar of his, and you can AI manipulate it by using spear on him. So he just, like, goes back in order to use his Yashuriku sugar, which gives you enough downtime to safely perform a mortal draw, like jump mortal draw on him. And he also, like, deals damage to himself by using Yashuriku sugar, which gives you, like, a very good desirable effect in this fight. That's a very weird AI manip I randomly found at some point, which was very neat to have. And the last boss in this area is Gouken Headless. And this Headless is the tankiest one we're gonna kill. So hopefully I don't mess up. And on this one we're gonna abuse, like, circling Headless, like, the most from the very beginning. That was, like, super clean phase 1. This is actually harder than it looks, probably, as you can guess. Not the greatest phase 2 RNG, I bet. Oh my god, where is he? Holy heck. Like, I just jumped away from him, but he took so long to teleport, like, to actually, like, become visible and vulnerable. That's, like, I just jumped into him while he was invisible. Oof. Okay, that was clean. Liked it. Now we warp to Ashina, like, temple, or not Ashina temple. I always, like, can't pronounce the word how this temple is called, whatever it's called. And you have to talk. Oh, actually, do some weird stuff again by skipping dialogue too early. And so the thing is, we have to talk there with Emma, and we have to listen for what Sculptor is saying in order to finally achieve, like, get the key to the Hirata 2. That's our key for purification ending, basically, at this point. Because after killing Owl 2, we will receive an item that will allow us to do the purification ending. And now, when we're finally done killing bosses that will disappear after killing Dragon, we can actually kill Dragon. And Dragon is one of the most difficult fights, I would say, in a run, definitely. Because the thing is, that fight is just weird. It has a little of RNG into it, but most of the RNG can be solved by, like, playing well. But what we will do a lot of jumping mortal draws, attacking Dragon himself. Like, in phase 1, we just have to kill those, like, white dragons as fast as possible. They like to take ages to spawn, so... And at some point in the fight, the tree spawns, and from the tree you can perform a aerial death blow on them, which will do a huge swipe that will kill a lot of enemies around you. And now we just have to wait. And this is relatively controllable, like how many white dragons will spawn before 3 disappears. But sometimes you just can't get... Like, I think I have one left. No, actually, no, it's all good. Like, sometimes you can't control over it. and just black dragons that are not part of the health bar start to spawn before all the white dragons spawned, and that's like losing you a bunch of time usually. It happens rarely if you do not mess up, so that is rather good, but it still can happen. Okay, so the fights. We ignore the lightning for now because we're gonna use only one lightning optimally in this run. So we actually have to... Oh, no, we're not gonna get one lightning. Unfortunately, I got the partial hits. But we got like best possible RNG for 2 lightnings, so that's good. So he would be dead if I wouldn't get partial on one of my mortal draw swings. But instead he is dead on after 2 lightnings. This fight, that was like the best RNG that loses you very little over doing 1 lightning. But this fight is actually quite tricky to get used to, like the hitbox and timings to punish his attacks with mortal draw jumping is like, it's relatively precise, and you need to know timings pretty well, and you need to be very careful with your position to like be in a good spot to punish all of them. Oh, I didn't level up health. Okay, whatever. I mean, it's rather good actually, because I didn't take the hit I had. Whatever. You just usually die throughout this like last combo sequence, just because while you're dead you can overweight it and then respawn and just do the last lightning at the end. Very cool. And yeah, you can actually grapple to his face there if you keep lock on him. Like if you do not lock on him in time, it will just not allow you to grapple for some reason. Pretty weird. And yeah, now dragon is killed. The world state is now in its latest, in its last state possible, and now we have just the rest of the game on our plate, which is still quite a lot actually. So there we have to get the key from Emma. Now we have an access to Genichiro Ishin boss fight, which is nice. And now it's time for the most RNG bullshit segment of the run, because it involves Fire Drunkard and DOH, because both of these things are like not fully in your control. And by not fully, I mean if games wants to fuck you up, it will. To that kind of no control. So there, in order to kill Fire Drunkard, we're going to perform first Death Blow from stealth. And for the second Death Blow, we are going to use a combination of using Spear in this mini boss fight and Explosive Box that is there in the nearby area. It's like an intended surrounding mechanic. Like you bait out him to come there, and he will not get hit by a box. He did. Okay, this is like unlucky but lucky. I got the late bullets. I got the late bullet hit on the explosion box because like the snipers, the AI of snipers trying to shoot the box on purpose when you are nearby, well, relatively nearby it. But they just can miss, like, pretty often. So if he misses like enough times, you just can't keep the drunkard for long enough near the box, and it will just explode before you can do anything. Like sorry, it will explode after he will already like be away from it, and you will not have enough time to keep him nearby with it reliably. So that was like very lucky that it actually got hit. It was like probably the biggest range you can get. But yeah, I still got unlucky with the cycle a little, and I got unlucky with Fire Emblems before. Sorry, not Fire Emblems, Spirit Emblems, because if I would be luckier with Spirit Emblems, I would have enough to use Firecracker once to get some extra stagger time on the enemy there. So that's DOH. You do level up like a lot of stuff in a menu, waiting for him to be done with enemies, because enemies will majorly mess up, like, oh my god, he's doing the melee attack for some reason. Here already? Okay. I think he should be good enough. Yeah, he is good enough. So you make him stuck in this corner, and again, like, thanks From Software for reusing boss fight arenas, because they reuse the Gyobu boss fight arena, and you literally do the same stuff. And invisible bosses, invisible walls disappear, and he just walks off to death the same way Gyobu does. And that's like the most tanky boss in a game, like 3 phases, billion HP, billion posture, like insane boss fights, just walking off a cliff, which is very convenient, as you can guess, for a speedrun. So yeah, that's a lifesaver, though you might say, like, this is less RNG than fighting him normally. I guess it is a little less, but the way he handles the enemies inside arena and the way he likes to stuck in a corner is like super random. So sometimes you lose like 15-10 seconds just because he doesn't want to behave properly. And now we start to full clear the rest of the game, starting with Headless Ape in this cave. He spawns there after you kill Guardian Ape for the first time. And this fight is like pretty much a joke with Mortal Draw. As you can see, like, you just spam Mortal Draw and jump and he dies, no chance. There is also a little important thing to do, like, we have to finish him off entirely. Like, it's not necessary, like, it doesn't count as a boss kill or anything, right? You kill the boss, as soon like Shinobi Execution message appears and you receive the reward, boss is killed. But the reason you do this is to spawn a mini-boss inside this cave. Because if you don't do this, the last Shichiman will not spawn. He only spawns there after you kill the Headless Ape right there. And the other thing to do to make him to spawn, which is very weird, that I couldn't figure out casually, not casually, but when I started routing the game, I couldn't figure this out without modders that helped me with, like, actually telling me what are the requirements for Shichiman to spawn. So as you could see, like, I equipped Whistle as my, like, I made it a prosthetic, and that's a thing you get from killing the Guardian Ape normally. So if you kill Guardian Ape, you get this, like, bone, finger bone or whatever it's called, that you can make finger whistle from, right? And it's just in your inventory. But if you do not turn it in a whistle prosthetic, Shichiman will never spawn. Like the one that spawns in the Headless Ape arena. It will never spawn. It's one of the flags to make him spawn. I don't know why they made it like that, but I mean, it never appears in casual playthroughs, because in casual playthrough you always, like, turn all your, like, findings into prosthetic tools. But here, like, in a speedrun, it was very difficult to figure out what is wrong, and pretty much impossible for me would be. I would never think about that myself if not the modders, especially like Matt, that helped me with that one in particular. There we go into Hirata 1. It's like low level area compared to us right now. So Shinobi Hunter is mostly not an issue, but as you could see, enemies can still interrupt with you a little. And that makes the fight sometimes an issue, but it's like very rarely a case. And we are heading to Juzo 1. And then we're gonna fight with Lady Butterfly. And Lady Butterfly is also a pretty scuffed fight in this run, because we have so much damage that we're just gonna annihilate her. No chance. With all the jumping moral draw damage we have. Yes, we have some downtime for some info.
Alright, I mean, we don't have any donations, but I do want to remind you that you guys are donating towards Save the Children, and that every dollar that you donate helps. And I just wanted to read you some examples of what your money could go for. So, for example, just $100 that you donate can stock a full library in a school in the US, or $1,000 you can donate can pay for a construction of a village school, giving the gift of education to children who might otherwise not be able to access it. So every dollar helps. Please donate and let's help the kids. Thank you.
Yeah, so there in Juzo fights, we perform a sneaky like death blow. When he is actually in this like sitting on a stairs animation, he still can be death blowed. It's very finicky, like it's very you need to be in quite specific position for this to happen, but it's not difficult at all. It's just precise for some dumb reason. And this fight normally is fine. Again, you have a shitload of enemies around you, and the only way they can mess you up is by making you death blow the wrong enemy, or if one of the shield guys decides to randomly charge at you from a distance and interrupt your actions. And that's Lady Butterfly fights. And this is how Lady Butterfly fight looks like. It could be even faster if I deflected correctly like one of the hits from her attack, like the very first hit of her combo. She would be dead by then, but... And phase 2 is like abused even more. So she jumps down, then she has to snap her fingers in order to like spawn the illusions, like illusory enemies, and she just dies in 2 jump mortal draw swings entirely. That gives you another good example of how powerful the jump mortal draw is with the Yashoriko Sugar applied. And especially you will notice that in the Ishin fight. I hope if my Ishin fight will not suck too much. Because Ishin fight utilizes like the maximum amount of like what you are capable of doing with this like strats. It's a very cool fight when it goes correctly. So there, before entering Hirata 2, we actually do take this like abandoned dungeon warp. The reason for that mainly is, first of all, we will acquire a very important item for the very late game of this run, which is Tanto. It's an item that allows you to sacrifice health for extra spirit emblems. And second of all, what it gives you is just routing wise, it's faster to like warp to this guy and kill him than to rest at the idol, because we have no resources after killing Lady Butterfly, and we would need to take this idol anyway in order to rest and get the resources back for Hirata 2. So it's like very convenient that we can just wipe the first Shichiman out of the game. Okay, there I'm going to actually equip the Tanto. And now the Hirata 2 begins. This is also like a pretty scuffed, well, not scuffed, but not an easy area to go through. Or rather used to, like now Juzo is a much better fight than it used to be. And as you could see in the Shichiman fight, I haven't explained it much, but what you do, you dead angle him and you manipulate his teleports. Because his teleports are always consistent based on where you stand in the arena. I'm gonna maybe explain it further with the other Shichimans. So for this Lone Shadow, for the first phase we just spam, but in order for him to behave correctly in phase 2, we have to perform a very particular death blow. That's why I'm just doing like R1 in his block without him deflecting and wait for his respawn. That gives you like the right outcome all the time, pretty much. The right death blow that we need in order to manipulate his AI in second phase, because he wants to whistle. Like he wants to whistle with his fingers to summon dogs in the arena, and we can punish that like 100% safely without using Firecracker or anything. And that's very handful. So there in Juzo fight, we abuse the quit out. We kill all the surrounding enemies and then we just quit out. And it will spawn us in a safe spot where he doesn't notice us. where we can safely use another sugar and just wipe him very easily. As you can see, like, this fight is quite a joke as well when you have no enemies around. There was an older strat with finger whistle that was like super cool, but it's just much less convenient and it's actually slower. And now the next fight and the last fight of this area is Owl 2, like Father Owl. And this fight is quite a little of RNG in phase 2, but phase 1 is like super consistent. You manipulate him to do the right opener, and after he does that, like, fight is pretty much over. Then at the start of phase 1 you have to do like one jumping mortal draw. Oh, I messed up. That was unlucky because I just didn't move my camera properly. I expected him to spawn in an entirely different place, so that was my fuck up. And there in phase 2, if I wouldn't mess up like I just did at his, like, deflecting his owl form at the start, I would perform another mortal draw and he would have like very little health left just after that. And I'm actually going to do Unrestricted strat. It's a slower RTA, in fact, but I'll just do it anyway because I'm super close to an idol. So the thing is, you have a voice line after you kill the boss, and that voice line is preventing you from taking an idol. So if you just quit out and load in, it will like get rid of the voice line and let you interrupt as fast as possible. So yeah, this fight, the only issue of this fight that you had seen is the owl form that he turns into in phase 2, because it takes like a lot of time for him to spawn back in and become vulnerable. That's the main issue you have in this fight, because he has like very little health left after he initially turns into a vulnerable form. So when he goes into it for the second time, he's like super low usually. But yeah, for the rest, we're going to do Ashina Castle now. Oh no. That's very bad. Now I can't perform the... Now I couldn't perform the mortal draw in phase 2 because I got the wrong death blow animation. Like, because I messed up deflecting the second hit of the enemy, I had to... I actually had to fight him sort of normally in phase 2 because I would have not enough downtime to squeeze my jumping mortal draw. So there is a lone shadow in this like room now. We kill his enemy and quit out, so he doesn't bother us. There is a strat when you keep the enemy alive, and it's like glitchless strat where you are not allowed to quit out. But the thing is that like it takes pretty much the same amount of time to do this fight with both strats. And this is like a very like early game enemy, so he dies literally in one set of attacks, which is quite funny. Next mini boss we're gonna fight with is gonna be Ogre, and Ogre is annoying because of the enemies around him. So you perform the death blow, and then you sort of rely on enemies to deal enough posture damage to him while you're buffing. And you hope that these enemies, I mean, they clearly did hacking no damage. Instead they decided to kill me. Very nice enemies, by the way. Oh, he killed both of them, nice. Okay. Okay, there I'm gonna do like some fancy strat that is like very high risk, relatively low reward. It's called a double door skip. They already messed it up, so that's a shame. I actually got a delayed jump where I normally never got a delayed jump, so that's I can definitely tell you that that is literally first time ever when I fail it like that. I got so confused that I just messed up. But it's fine. I'll just need to heal to have more health after the full damage we receive. So that skip basically allows you to skip this whole door animation. Like normally, if you wouldn't go for it, you would go around and it takes like much less time to deal with the doors, because you don't have to open both doors, you have to open only one of the doors. Oh no, this is like very bad actually. Actually, this is bad to a degree that this is unsalvageable. In a sense, I will need to kill this boss much later now, because I don't have the resources to death blow him successfully. Cool. And I'm also spawned like a kilometer away, very nice. Well, great run continues. I just need to not forget to come back there for this boss, but for now we can just forget about him. This is a cool fight, but I don't have a Gachin Sugar, so I just can't perform a strat at all. So I'll have to come back here later in order to deal with the boss. Which suck, but it's life. Life can suck sometimes. Feels gulag, man. And we go into the Ishin fight. And Ishin fight hopefully goes very smoothly, so it's a good showcase. Because this fight looking very interesting when it's... Oh, I have no healing word, huh? And I already can do the strat because... Well, it's already not playing out exactly like planned, but this is fine. I usually have healing gourd to bait out the right animation from the Genichiro, but this is fine. Still, like, pellet worked good enough as a replacement. So this is the boss fight where you abuse the Tanto and Mortal Draw like the most. Like you get the maximum potential out of the thing. And this boss, especially phase 3, becomes a joke. Unless you get like unlucky and you have to... Like, you don't get the lightning in last phase. So yeah, that was good fight. Good fight position. As you could see, like, I just use Mortal Draw as much as I can. Like, every single attack I can punish with Mortal Draw, I punish with Mortal Draw in this fight. And that makes it, like, incredibly fast with the attack power we have and with the Yashoriko Sugar. And on top of that, we use Tanto multiple times. We use Tanto before the fight and we use Tanto during the fight, getting extra 10 Spirit Emblems, because if you have no Spirit Emblems, you still can perform Mortal Draw, but it will deal like significantly less damage, like pretty much nothing compared to actually having it with the emblems, and each swing costs you like 3 emblems. So yeah. So now we killed Ishin, now we have to deal with the rest of the enemies. I will... And it's actually not too many enemies left, in fact. We have to deal with Miibu enemies. We deal with them so late in the run only because they are, like, these enemies in Miibu Forest are completely not affected by World State. That's the reason why we don't have to deal with them like at all in all. And can do them like as late as possible. And what I need to not forget is to do the 7 spears in Ashina Castle. That's gonna be very important. So Orin is actually a very annoying fight. It's very RNG heavy. Oh my god, I never ever got this RNG actually. That was actually fast. Never got the combo out of... Nice. So you deal a lot of damage to Orin, that's nice, but she can become invulnerable. And that makes this fight quite RNG. Like, and also she one-shots you with any attack she does with your health that you have here. And that doesn't make it fun. Like, does it make it fun at all? What I can tell you. But that was a good fight. Now we have to kill the rest of the enemies in Mibu village, which is Gachin Headless, which is another drawn card. And for Gachin Headless there is a neat strat that is basically a Yaimanib to make him do a ranged attack. Like, you can make him aggro in a specific spot on a branch, and that will guaranteed give you the... It will guaranteed give you the good outcome at the start. And considering the damage you deal to this boss, it makes the phase 1 like hyper consistent. And now we do some parkour to get back on the tree. And only drawn card left in this area that we hopefully will get rid of. Like, I do the strat that nobody does because it's like, it saves no time, but it's riskier than an actual like comfy strat you can do. And that other strat also like is more fancy than this one. And this strat also can't be used in glitchless because you have to quit out. So I kill like very little monkeys around the drawn card and I just kill him. Lol forehead. You optimally do kill like as many monkeys as you can with your first mortal draw swing, but it's still RNG to a degree, and it's like, it's relatively precise how you have to do it to wipe annoying monkeys away. And there is still a chance that you will get hit and get interrupted and it's like fight ruined. So I'm just an old man, I'm lazy to learn a proper good strat that is safe. But because there is no like time save or anything, I just do this one. And it's not like super inconsistent to not do it. So next, Shichimen depth. I wanted to explain like, so Shichimens teleporting across arena, but their teleports are 100% based on where you stand in the arena by the time they like initial the teleport. And they initial teleport after they like stop walking. Like, they initial teleport as soon as they like fully disappear. And by doing that, you can, after killing phase 1 in any fight, you can actually go and stay in a certain spot in the arena and wait till he teleports to make sure that he teleports where you want him to. And after this Shichimen, it's usually the last mini boss left, the another Shichimen Fountain Head Palace. Nice 3 FPS. I guess I can go this way since I opened all the doors already. But since I couldn't kill the 7 spears because I got noticed after using the sugar, I have to redo the strat. So this is a very like fancy, risky, fast kill that you use there. Because of the second enemy in the fight, it's like actually pretty dangerous. But generally, as you can see, it's not that big of an issue. Okay, let me get in a safe spot and just warp away. So what you do, you death blow, and before the death blow, you switch from Gachin sugar to Yashuriku sugar. You can't have 2 sugars being used at once, and you also use like spirit falls, the ones that are being available after dealing with headlesses. They cost you spirit emblems, but considering the amount of bosses you fight in this run, using 3 spirit emblems usually is like nothing. You only like don't use spirit falls in the particular boss fights where you need a lot of emblems, like Ishin, for example. In Ishin you use the regular sugars that cost no emblems. And there for Fountainhead Palace Shichimen, you have to, like, this death blow is normally not possible to perform. In order to perform it, You have to do certain AI manipulation by moving across the arena a little bit. Well, not arena, but area. And actually... time. I guess it's quite sudden. I had to probably ask ahead. But anyway. So you can manipulate the aggroing of Shichimen by like when you enter arena, for some reason he aggroes at you for millisecond. Like I have no clue why it happens, but he has some shenanigans with how he aggroes for like a very short amount of time, and because of that it makes him idle in a way that you can perform a death blow. You can perform an aerial death blow, and none of the other Shichimens are having that really, so it's like super weird. Probably it was maybe meant to be in game, but they decided to like get rid of it or something, or it's like a super hidden mechanic they made to work super scuffed. But I don't know, it's just very handful, because this fight would absolutely suck without this death blow, because there are many lightning dogs around that you would have to deal with if not the death blow. But yeah, that's it. Sekiro all bosses, mini bosses. This run was very scuffed at times, but luckily we went through it. No issues. And I want to first of all shout out like Sekiro speedrunning community. So if you are wanting to like attempt Sekiro speedrunning, I recommend you to join Sekiro speedrunning community. There are very nice people there willing to help you if you starting out, if you are reasonable of course, and can read FAQ. So yeah.
All right, Dan. Hey, you did an amazing job. So I have a few words before we go on to intermission. So first of all, again, congratulations, Dan, on a beautiful run. I hope
Thank you.
everyone enjoyed that. Second, there were a couple of donations that I want to read right now. So there is a $50 donation by Anonymous, but no message. Thank you very much. And there's a $10 donation by Anya Membe saying, Chat super cute, swole doge. Thank you very
Swole
much.
Doge.
Swole doge indeed. And the other thing I wanted to say is that my hosting duty is over for this marathon.
Thank you, Dak.
Thank you guys for having me. I hope you're having a great time. And please look forward for more amazing runs that's gonna be happening. There's still so many of them, and of course the race at the very end is gonna be absolutely fantastic. So thank you so much for supporting our marathon, and I will see you next time. Oh, and I will be your next host will be Morale. She's the best host. She's the best organizer. She's the best at everything. She told me to say that, otherwise she would execute me. All right, bye.